to begin, what's SEO? You know, over the past couple of years, I've heard real estate agents talk about it a lot, or have a lot of questions about it. I don't think that's necessarily a really good amount to understand how to do it, but these kind of to get the sense, hey, this is important. I kind of generally vaguely know I should be doing it, but what is it and why? So SEO stands for search engine optimization. And it's the process of making sure that your site will show up first. SEO can apply for all the different search engines. There's ways that you can optimize for Yahoo and for Bing and for Google and the GoDuckDaddy or GoDuckGo or whatever. And there's all these different search engines out there. But frankly speaking, the king of search engines is Google, and as such, we're going to focus on that for the bulk of our optimizations. And because of the fact that Google is the king of the search engines right now, typically if you're going ahead and doing something that's good for Google, it's going to be good for the rest of them. So why is SEO important? Well, when it comes to people that are looking for real estate, 74% of the people turn to the internet for buying or selling a home. 75% of the people never go past the first page of Google, and 72% of leads go with the first agent they speak with. So those are some pretty big numbers to tell you one small simple fact. You really need to make sure that you're as early into the search process as possible for people. And in this era, that means being on the front page and people go and search online. And when they're talking about searching online, as I said before, it comes down to searching on Google. So what's important for good SEO? This is a huge can of worms in terms of addressing the question. There's tons and tons and tons of different factors. If you ask around, some people may say there's 200 different influencing factors that go into how Google decides, where they're going to put the page or where they're going to put your website on the search engine ranking page. You may see it later referred to as SERP. But frankly speaking, there's probably some more. But ultimately, the big factors can be simplified down into these 6 simple steps. So that's user experience, reputation, structure, content, mobile friendliness, and speed. And one thing that, as we go along the slides, you'll kind of get a better feel for is that these are all really closely interconnected in a lot of ways. And even though it can seem really complicated, and really, if you want to dig into a lot of the nitty gritty details and a lot of the different areas of it, it can be really complicated. Once you sort of understand what it is that Google is trying to do and what it is that they're looking for, you'll understand it's really not all that difficult to get yourself to where you're already 90% there. So let's get started talking about reputation. Ultimately, what Google wants is to have a good search experience. So if you tuned into my last webinar where we talked about lead generation, effectively, I mentioned that Google understands that, hey, Yahoo was big before they came along, and if at any point another search engine offers a better search experience, then they may end up becoming the next internet giant. Google doesn't want that. And in order to do so, they care a lot about preserving the search experience. What that means for me and you is it means that when we look for something, Google wants to make sure that we're ultimately going to find it. And there's some other aspects that go into it. With that saying, site age is one of them. So you may think, well, how is that relevant? The way that Google looks at it is if a site's been around for a long time and there hasn't been any sort of red flags, if you will, then you're going to go ahead and say, okay, well, this site's probably reputable. They're probably not going to have any future behaviors that are going to effectively throw off or put the person searching in a bad place because they have a history of having good behavior. Past behavior is the best indicator of future behavior. Google knows that. Google recognizes that. And so the longer you have a site around demonstrating these good SEO behaviors, Google's going to reward that. Now, there's going to be an asterisk to every single point here because when you look at these, Google will say, yeah, that's important, but it's not the biggest thing or of the ultimate importance. And you'll find that with pretty much every single thing, there's always kind of a by the way or well, don't just solely focus on that. With that said, For site age specifically, if you have a new site, don't worry. It's okay. Showing good behavior in other aspects will ultimately get Google to look at you in a favorable way, even if you have a young site. And this is something which, is true for everything along the way. Ultimately, as long as you're kind of generally heading in the right direction and you're doing things in a generally good way, Google's going to be okay with that and is going to reward you, especially considering the fact that, honestly speaking, you're even by going, let's say, in a 70% good direction, you're already better than 90% of the people out there. With site age specifically, one thing to note is that anytime you do make a big change with your website, let's say, for example, you change, where your website's hosted, or you do some significant changes to the site structure, Google will actually temporarily provide a penalty to your site. Or what that means is it will rank your site lower for a short period of time because they want to make sure that what you haven't done is say, okay, I've gotten my site number one for this thing. Now I'm going to go ahead and sell my site to somebody else who wants to go ahead and change the content or change what's on there, change the search experience for the people looking for it, and then it goes ahead and ruins the whole search ecosystem. So this is something that can be changed pretty rapidly, and typically any changes, significant changes to your site, will take anywhere from 30 to 90 days to see sort of a leveling off effect, but it can happen sooner. Site security. So this one's a big one. Uh, Generally speaking, as long as you have your site professionally done, you're going to be in the clear. A big thing is just to make sure that whenever you're collecting people's information, that process is secure. And with that, you want to make sure also that you're getting that HTTPS as opposed to just an unsecure site structure, so that way Google knows that you care about the information and the information security that comes with the people that are visiting your site. And the last one for reputation is backlinks. And we'll talk about how to get backlinks a little bit later. But effectively, you can understand this as how many people are linking back to your page. So the way that you can understand this is, how many people link back to your page. Google looks at that as in how many people are vouching for you, or how many people recognize, okay, you're, legitimate, or someone that can be trusted. And at that point, they're going to say, all right, we can go ahead and trust them as well.